s1mple on BC Game has been the talk of the town. Now, we did see him return to Counter-Strike at a high level on FaZe briefly, but that really wasn't quite it. It was good, we saw the flashes, we saw the sparks of brilliance, that fire that burns inside him to compete and really challenge all the best teams in the world and to be the greatest. We saw what made him the CS GOAT, but we also saw many dodgy maps, poor deaths, decision-making that wasn't quite in line with what we'd expected from s1mple, and things were a little bit hit and miss. Thankfully, on BC Game, he's been able to get some reps in. He's been playing loads of games. He's been competing with this roster at a pretty decent level. It's not exactly tier 1. It's not anything like that. But it is still a solid enough level to actually give him those runs. Teams are no longer playing random garbage nonsense in tier 2 and tier 3. Teams play real CS. And so he's been able to test himself, bring himself up to speed, and start showing us that the GOAT might be returning. I've got for you today a demo from a game against OG. We're going to be watching Ancient, where s1mple goes absolutely ballistic, carries his team to a win, as he's had to, time and time again, with a rather underpowered roster. Let's get right into it. s1mple on BC Game is joined by Rozaza. If you look at the names on the screen, you'll be a bit confused. That's PrimeTaps, Tsatsanito, Nexa, and Andu. Some of these names you may be familiar with if you watch high-level CS. Some of these names you probably won't be, even if you have been following some fringe tier 2 play. Damn, what an opening shot. Sorry, I tried to hold myself back. Nice tap there onto the long-range player. But Andu is a more aggressive player, very young, played in Gamer Legion Academy for a bit. Played on Gamer Legion briefly, I believe, as well. But just never found the right team to really make use of his skills and play the positions he wanted. Some opportunity to shine here, but hasn't really delivered so far. Satsanito, we all remember from Apex. He's been floating around the scene a little bit. A decent value player. I don't think he's terrible. I think he plays his roles fairly well. Just doesn't thrill me. And you can say similar things about PrimeTaps on this team. It's just not a thrilling option. Ooh, lovely shot, but yeah. Great bait and trade. Spook on for the ace. Spook, one of the more dangerous players on this OG side, so not too surprising he's able to shine. Let's get into the rest of the game. And finally, Nexa. Yeah. There's been enough said about Nexa. He's been involved in enough controversy, enough memes. I don't need to elaborate too much on him. He's a solid guy. He does his role. He calls for this roster. But he's not exactly a heavy fragger at this level of play. So a lot of the firepower is coming from s1mple himself. I thought Andy would be offering more of a helping hand, and he was briefly when he started, but on average, he's just not been that impressive for this squad. It's been a lot of s1mple and just a little bit of everyone else just to fill in the gaps. He hasn't had to get an ace every single round, obviously, otherwise his numbers would be ungodly, but he has had to do a lot of the heavy lifting. We are going to be fast-forwarding through some of the dead rounds. Obviously, losing the first pistol is going to lead to some ecos, some half-buys, before we get into the real action, the real meat and potatoes of this demo. As I sort of prefaced this with, the stint on FaZe was close to what we'd hoped. It wasn't perfect, but it was close to what we'd hoped it'd be. s1mple was able to have some really high-impact games, some games like against the Mongols in that series where he just absolutely dominates, makes plays, asserts his will, and hits every single shot. Those are the kind of games that were exciting to us. But there were maps where, you know, he's slightly underwhelmed. He slightly didn't find what we were hoping for. Instead, he took some cheap deaths. He went for the sort of plays he used to. He'd make that sort of risky push, that extra swing, and get punished for it. And in certain places, it didn't feel always necessary. We see in this demo an interesting little note here. He's gone with the Deagle rather than buying into an M4, really trying to force that AWP out. An interesting decision. Still going to find a bit of luck there on the second kill, but Jesus, we're going to find a double kill on that Deagle anyway. Don't need the AWP, don't need an M4. Happy to go at it with the Desert Eagle. But it's that kind of confidence. It's emblematic of Prime s1mple. He's going to be cocky, sure, but it's not going to matter because he is so much sharper and also more intuitive than every other player on the server. Here, looking for one of the standard picks on the CT side of Ancient, holding for a boost up. A flash, a check of the ramp, but no one's going to be able to see him. He's far too far back. He's not playing up close to that wall in front of him. So, just nades. Decent bit of damage onto Nikodos. Fallen's back. I do remember there was one game on FaZe where everyone was blaming Skulls. Skulls was standing in. Everyone was mad at Skulls. And I watched the... Nice pick. I watched the demo back from s1mple's POV, and there were just a few deaths where I thought... He's getting the CS royalty treatment here. To not be called out as much. There's rounds he's throwing away. He's squandering advantages. He's taking bozo deaths, essentially, where he really shouldn't be. It's not all poor Skulls' fault. Skulls, for, just to be clear, for clarity's sake, he was bad. He was bad, but as always, we find a scapegoat in the Counter-Strike community. We always talk about one player, like this player. He's the singular reason we lost. In much the same way one player rarely is the singular reason you won, the opposite is true. Just holding here and towards the cave. These little quick swing back and scopes, he can really hit those. Gets out in the sight, Nikodos traded off. Arasdosh down as well. Lovely use of the pillar there as cover, dancing around, classic AWP play. Now 1v1 to win with Spook. As I said, the most dangerous player on this OG side. It's him, it's Adam B. Everyone else on the team might be able to do a job, but Spook's the real danger man, and s1mple hits the flick. Quad kill. Now this is my first time watching the demo. Usually I do actually give the demos a scan through before I do these videos, before I talk about it, just to find my bearings, know which rounds I need to skip. But I'm going into this blind. I know that his stat line is absolutely absurd. I want to watch him put up that 9.5% round swing. On the CT half as well, it's even more extreme how well he performed. Lovely shot. Headshot as well to boot on the deagle there. Whew. Looking like prime s1mple right now. But a return to prime s1mple would be fascinating. And the big discussion that I'm dragged into at every single occasion, and sometimes, honestly, I'm the one doing the dragging as well, is s1mple. Should he stay on BC Game and hope they can build a team around him, or should he go play for a different squad and try to make a return to Tier 1 in that way? There's options. There are options. Now, BC Game can always try and buy ever increasingly high-quality players. Just go out and make those big-name additions. Obviously, with Alicia's recent benching, people have been talking about potentially him reuniting with s1mple. I'm not so sure that's necessarily outright a good thing, just in terms of Alicia's fit on the team they currently have. But if they signed a core of 3 from a different org, different roster, that's not the worst idea. In terms of current Tier 1 sort of level teams who could do with him, well, there's technically quite a lot. Obviously, we all believe FaZe would be massively improved by the addition of s1mple. There are very few amongst us who think Na'Vi would be worse with s1mple. I think we all agree, given the way he's been playmaking, given the shots he's been hitting, the confidence he's showing, the numbers he's outputting. A return to Na'Vi would be second nature. Like, there's no way they wouldn't get better. And aside from that, anyone who could do with a Ukrainian or English-speaking player would be very happy with a s1mple return. There's no doubt in my mind. G2 currently have s1mple. s1mple, sure, did play one of his better tournaments just now. That was a decent Blast Open London. You can always do better. And especially signing s1mple, you'd be doing way better. I know the level isn't that high. We've talked about that before as well, where it's like, oh, this level of team, maybe that's helping him frag out. When you watch the POV, it's like, he's just hitting these shots. I mean, it doesn't matter who the opponent is. Sometimes he's just too quick. Sometimes he's just too sharp, just too smart. He's going to make the right read. He's going to hit the crazy shot. He's going to be s1mple. Oh, a little saving frag. Let's give it a peek. Easy peasy, goodbye. A little sweet rice. And we're into the next round. Yeah, for those of you who don't know, arroz Portuguese, basically means sweet rice. It's the name of a pudding. Obviously, a rice pudding. Something that exists in many cultures, but yeah. Arroz is the Portuguese edition. And just like sweet rice, he's soft. s1mple, going by the moniker Sissy. I'm not sure that's what he wants to be known as, to be honest, but it's what he's going by right now. I'm sure there's no one on the team who's given him that sort of cultural awareness lesson that maybe not the name most people would pick, but hey, he's s1mple, he can do what he wants. That's a missed shot, that's rare. Not expecting, I guess, the exact tempo of the swing. Reads into it straight away that a player's long. Great nade. Jumps for info as well, just to hold that attention. Nice play. Even if he doesn't get the kill there, still holds the attention just that second longer with his presence and with that jump. Obviously, he's also jumping to see if he can take a shot, figure out the position of the player. I have no doubt, straight off the back of that, if that player was still alive, he was swinging, scoping, and shooting. That's just the way he plays. And it's honestly a part of the appeal. Straight into Donut. This has become one of the more common AWP positions, really, on Ancient over the last year or so. I mean, I know the A site has always been very popular amongst AWPers. Famously, back in the day, you know, we had the very basic AWPing from back in A as an anchor. But nowadays, you see players like Molodoy just absolutely thrive in Donut, just loving this position. One place I think AWPers need to make a comeback is Cave. I feel like I don't see enough players take a Cave opening pick. I feel like s1mple would be the kind of guy who could make it work as well. Just get into that close quarter scenario and just hit a crazy shot. I know there's a lot of utility that gets dispensed in that area, and it can be tough, but it's also the kind of spot where you can play at some range and retreat. Easy flick onto the pistol, double up, just spook left in a 1v5. Nothing but a pistol. A P250 at that, not even a particularly threatening one. Still gets Sassanito though. And down he goes. One of the more interesting things about seeing s1mple dominate at this tier is the fact that this was sort of... Oh, wow, he goes straight into the cave pick. I didn't even clock. He's straight up into Jag. Takes a freebie onto Spook, who just comes crouching around the corner expecting a rifle. Oh, that's tough. We saw him make this peek work earlier. We see it here. Just gets it wrong. Just off on the mark. It's what we like to see. But that's a crazy call. So, just while this round plays out, OG, they have 4 players towards the ramp. 1 player comes walking, just looking for a peek here. When he sees it's the AWP, I think that's when you get the read, right? You read that it's going to be a 2-man bomb site. 1 rifler playing somewhere on the site, 1 AWP in cave. There's probably going to be a heavier mid lean, maybe a 2-player donut setup. Something, anything that isn't in here. That's why they just walk up, come through the smoke, almost on contact, and they know they can catch the AWPer out, catch the rifler, maybe cycling through nades. Not paying as much attention as he should. We saw there at the back of the bomb site. I can't remember who it was. Might have been Sassanito was playing just back here. He's 1 flashbang, 1 smoke. Hell, 1 straight up duel away from being out of the round. It's a pretty good call. Got to give him credit. Krisen, the young guy calling. One of the youngest IGLs in the entire scene, and he's not even on an academy anymore. Krisen still clocking in at, I believe, 19 years of age. I may even be overly generous there. I might be giving him an extra couple years. He might still be 18, 17. Oh, that's a bad nade. But yeah, it's a solid call on a round with very low economy, very low util for the side of OG. Flashbang sets up the aggression. Andu with a double kill. Satsa goes down. s1mple's molly, though. Very effective. We've seen him throw it a couple times. It's the first time it's really done something. Adam B taken out. The lurk of Arosdosh also heard by Sassanito. That's a freebie. Arosdosh 1v3. Left alive just by the big box at the bottom of lane. Unsure, and s1mple's stalking. s1mple's looking. Of course he's going to have a look. He's s1mple. Gets himself nice snap close. Doesn't scope, doesn't give away the info, but is going to rely on a no-scope or an incredibly sharp quick scope to make this kill happen. It's all a part of the style, all a part of the appeal. Last player found. Nexa takes him out. Down goes Arosdosh. 6-4. Now, this half is actually going to end 6-all. s1mple is still going to keep fragging. So I'm curious as to how this goes wrong. Insta mid-smoke. Holding a flashbang for the boys. Yeah, in terms of inspiring mid-duos, Nexa and Sassanito is my rifle duo fighting mid. It's not who I want. Andu gets run down in cave. Speaking of players I would actually maybe want fighting mid, Andu is one of them. And s1mple now with a lot to do. 3v5, takes the first one. Gonna re-peek, of course. And with the flashbangs go wide, a lovely shot. Down goes Arosdosh. Adam B though on the Tech 9 still making things happen. Oh, the quad kill hold. He does absolutely everything. Can someone give this man some help? This is what I'm saying. There's nobody helping on the firepower front on this roster. Andu in cave gets... It seemed he was flashed. He's just kind of awkwardly dancing between these pillars rather than actually retreating or fighting. Goes down to a Tech 9 as Spook. Then s1mple rotates in from these positions, able to get a huge triple kill. And everyone just falls around him. Everyone's in this space. The entire team is in the right position to frag, to get something done. And no one does. A quad kill from s1mple. Now going into a cheeky swag 7. An interesting pickup, I guess. Going for a bit of a cheese play. Straight into A main. Yeah, this is one of those gambits where it's either they come in close range and you can try and farm a couple kills, or you're basically pulling your USB and flanking. A lot of these angles, as you walk around out here, you're going to have to check with a USP. Like, these sorts of distances, you need the USP. But he's going to get tested here. I'm not sure who that is with the coach bug appearing in the spectator stuff. I'm not really sure who's left. It might be Arosdosh, it might be Spook. Oh, it's Arosdosh, and that's a shame. 87 damage. See, that's how shotguns work in my hands. Finally, I see a pro player get the same treatment from Valve that I do. I can never get a shotgun to work. Not for the life of me. It's just not a thing. 3-minute halftime break. Face it, who asked for this? Who asked for a 3-minute halftime break? Okay, we skip a good chunk of the pistol round. Nothing seems to have happened. Thank the Lord. A 3-minute halftime break into a 30-second pause in pistol. Thrilling stuff. Adam B with the opener. Crizzen also chiming in. s1mple, we're going to need some trades here. Timing on this push is absolutely abysmal. Just one by one they go down. Oh, interesting boost, actually. This is actually a pretty cool boost. I actually do like this. If you've never tried this, yeah, it can be productive. There's a kill. Satsanito chimes in with 2. There's some fragging. There's some firepower. A multi from someone else. Not on an eco round. Love to see it. Oh, s1mple not quite converting. That's tough. Thankfully, Satsanito chimes in, and there's the final finishing blow from s1mple. Onto the AKs. But yeah, OG has become one of the rivals of BC Game in this level of play. They've faced each other a number of times. s1mple has generally popped right off against them. I mean, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I think they've played each other at least 6 times in terms of maps. Like 6 maps. I think s1mple's over a 1.4 against them. He's been outstanding. He's a 1.30 rating since joining BC Game, which, sure, it's a lower level. But you know who else is at a lower level? Everyone else. And they're not putting up those numbers. Every other AWPer at this tier isn't putting up these numbers. There is no AWPer farming tier 2 to the extent s1mple is. That's what people make the mistake of assuming, is that it's just a thing that AWPers put up great numbers when they're good, not great. No. Even in tier 2, you need to be great to put up these kinds of stats. It's a consequence of not only facing decently skilled opponents who you don't have much prep time for, and also having to play a lot of games. So you yourself can struggle to be consistent. You don't have your own personal prac times. You do have to sometimes just weather bad days, play multiple BO3s anyway. It can be rough maintaining great numbers in tier 2. That's why players who put up like 120 ratings in tier 2 don't stay in tier 2 very long and typically end up being very successful. Oh my god, what a tap. Can we talk about the rifling for a second? A shockingly effective part of s1mple's game since becoming a tier 2 AWPer has been his rifle play. He's been so sharp, especially with the AK, the M4, the A1, the M4, the M4, A4, the M4, A1, that stuff, we don't see it a lot. He really likes to get the AWP out on the CT side, which I believe is the correct way to go. I've seen some people talk about it being forced, like players just wanting to go into the AWP for every buy round they have on CT half. People talk about it being forced, unnecessary, almost a mistake. I disagree. Especially on the CT side, get the AWP out as much as you can. I do agree you should be trying to AWP a lot on the T side too, but the AK of s1mple is so good. And really an underrated piece in his armory. Trying to get this round finished on the B bomb site. It's not looking good. It's really not looking good. 9 seconds, s1mple as 19 HP and a Galil. Honestly, I'd rather you die. Give the other team $50 each, like just die. With a Galil? What was the point? Go and take a scalp. Go try to take a kill. I'm not a fan of that. Then again, in my city we boo saves, so, you know. maybe a bit of a mentality thing. Nice little flashes to get everyone out. Missed Molotov is going to be a problem, but hopefully not too big a one. Trying to get the bomb down. Ooh, pushing the smoke as Nikodos often spooks flashbang. Only goes 1 for 1. s1mple with a rather laboured Galil spray, but it's still enough. Now looking to make plays again. That's ambitious, that's bold, that's s1mple. Now I am curious because I know the first half finished 6-6. How does the second half go? Okay, I got the scoreline now. Right. Interesting. But yeah, CT side, he put up phenomenal round after phenomenal round. So impactful. And since joining BC Game, I think it can't be understated how rapid this ascension has been. Because s1mple joins BC Game in July of 2025. Right, July 2025 he joins. Towards, yeah, the back end of the month. Right as August starts. They're 71st in VRS when he joins. Just going to come back to the game, sorry, tabbed out, looking for this info for you, just because it's an eco, we're not too bothered. 11th of August, 2025, 61st on HLTV ranking, 71st on VRS. Today, about a month later, 48th HLTV, 44 on VRS. That's insanely quick. Just turning it around like that without any land play. Land play has become so important to buffing your ranking on VRS. Insane they've done this almost entirely online. So shout out s1mple and shout out his ability to carry, getting BC Game out of the doldrums and into a, I think, like, reaching distance of the major. It's going to take a lot of doing because they don't have a lot of land play coming up. They got a lot of online stuff still, and land play will be the decider, I think, in terms of who makes the major. He's made it realistic. They're one of the most realistic teams in terms of trying to make that major push without having any lands. Just off the back of the dominance s1mple has brought them. Lovely read on the double kill. Oh my god, anticipating the first play, anticipating where the second play is going to be. The cerebral aspect of this man's play is just unparalleled. And it's going to be one of those things where he can't tell you exactly what made him believe there'd be a player close and a player far rotating. Maybe there's a piece of info we didn't catch there. Maybe Satsunito called something. But at the same time, it's just, it looks intuitive. It looks instinctual. Crizzen looking for a cheeky defuse late in the round. Don't let it happen. Okay, it doesn't. Crizzen's going to go down. No saving that AK. And s1mple saves his AWP into the next. Great double kill there. Secure that round. Flashing the players out mid. This is, of course, one of the things we kind of don't love to see from an AWPer. Is a very util-centric early game. We do sometimes wish we'd see just more picks attempted, more things tried. I think one of the craziest demos I ever watched was some of you may remember this game. It's not a Brokey game, sorry. It's Phaser involved, but it's a Wrinkle game against FaZe on NIP. He went for some of the most audacious AWP picks I've ever seen. He went for a Rumboos onto Heaven for an AWP pick, which was, ooh, close. I like the attempt, which was pretty cool. He went for a T-side pick into Cave. That was absurd. He was really just changing up his positions, using the tempo against the defense, and punishing them time and time again. s1mple here looking for picks in the mid-round. Fair enough. It's a good place to do it on Ancient. After the initial mid sort of util exchanges, you usually will find contact fights. You'll find places you can just push on timing. Here looking for that AWPer in the back of B. There is no AWPer to be found, though. It is just Adam B. Molly's not forcing him out, so s1mple just on the line holding, waiting. Now looking for the rotations in. Adam B pounces. Nexa trades. There's a player spotted. Ooh, doesn't quite land it. Nikodos able to frag off the Nikodos flash. Off the Spook flash, sorry. Shot taken. AK switched out to. His AK's been strong. Can he make this round happen? Oh, not quite. Just a bit slow, a bit laboured on that frag. Okay, tries to save. Doesn't make it happen. But yeah, do you see that? The difference between perfect and imperfect spray. Costs him getting that kill in time, really, to go save his teammate, or to allow his teammate to move on. A bit of a shame. But now we see how this round's going to work. Galils, P250, Tech 9, limited resources. s1mple just lurking in towards A main, trying to clear it out, trying to catch a freebie. If you can get the A anchor when he's setting up in A main, or he just catch him with his pants down a bit, falling asleep on his angle when he tries to set himself up in A main, you can crack around like this wide open. As soon as you get that kill, CT rotations usually come flooding in. And Na'Vi, one of the worst offenders at this, where as soon as something happens towards A, they panic. They come flying in through CT, their mid player comes running back. They're just terrified of things happening on the A bomb site. And I understand why. It's a tough site to retake, but it's also an easy site to isolate and plant on. So whilst you can, usually reliably get a smoke diffuse in, you do want to challenge it before that bomb plant goes down. And that was always the priority with Na'Vi. They want to pop the smokes from CT, from Donut, and try and get a look in, take a duel. Try to win the round before the bomb plant happens. But it's a good way to create chaos on the defensive side. Force rotations. And allow for little spaces. We're going into this quite late. That was Dosh waiting by Temple. s1mple boosted up. Spots the head. Exchange of dinks, but it doesn't go in his favour. Satsanito able to trade. And... wait. Satsanito, Prime Taps. Sorry, I forgot Prime Taps has renamed himself Psaza. So confusing. We're just going to follow out this 2v2, because this is a huge round. There's one, and there's the second. Orb going to be saved? Yes, it is. Orb going to be back in the hands of our GOAT. A lot of the conversation there's been surrounding Donk has been, is he the GOAT rifler? Now, my problem with a lot of the discourse has been, if he's the GOAT rifler, he's the GOAT. Just because of the logic being used by people who want him to be the GOAT rifler. The same logic would make him the GOAT, simply. So I wonder what it would take. Firstly, in their minds, for those people to give Donk that moniker of the GOAT. And secondly, if they did give it to him, is there a road back in for s1mple? Because that's where a lot of people, I think, get stuck. Is calling him the GOAT over s1mple all of a sudden becomes difficult. So I'd be curious to hear some of the reasoning around that. I don't think that discussion's ever really been attempted. People are just too focused comparing Donk and Nico to really get into their Donk and s1mple debate. Alright, the CT's back on the buy. This is the critical round that has to be won. This is the gun round that decides the rest of the map, basically. CT's lose it. They've got no money left for the final one. And they're stuffed. If they win it, save some guns, they're in with a shout. s1mple running out with a Glock. Interesting. Going for this sort of mid-round pick again. Just having a look, trying to catch the donut player. Rotating a little sloppily. Doesn't get afforded the opportunity. Now looking for that ramp push that did happen, but has since been retracted. Adam B and Crizzen returning to the bomb site. A good info play from the OG side, and now with that info they have rotated, but it's false. It's fake information. They don't realize that realistically what BC Game are happy to do here is keep hold of their mid control, not commit to anything. Just look for those wandering CT players, looking for that info. Once they catch a freebie, then they can make a decision. s1mple clearing out the close angles in cave with a Molotov. Dropping his utility over to Nexa, then getting his boost up. Spots nothing. Here comes the BXX, completely avoiding that OG defense. There's only two of them here to hold what is realistically a three-man bomb site. Crizzen goes down. They might save this already. A lot of teams would be considering saving this. Some teams would have already saved, but Adam B makes a play, gets a kill. s1mple, lovely trade. 4 seconds, someone needs to plant. There go the numbers. Oh, there's another kill from s1mple. Out of the pillar. Damn, Nikodos trades up. Crazy double kill on Nikodos. But Prime Tap's able to find a double of his own. s1mple, lovely work. That second kill, coming around that pillar again. So important to use that sort of cover to your advantage to make those multi-kills happen. Did it on the CT side, defending the bomb site from the Ts, and then on the T side does it again, defending from the retake. Lovely play. The kind of play you need to see. Looks like we're just going straight in for a B rush. Fuck it. 12-10, let's go in. I'm always a bit wary about this kind of call. You know, going too fast into a broken economy can lead to you getting punished. But they're going to get the bomb down safely, avoiding the close-range fights. And s1mple already checking behind. He's checking that flank. He's been checking it every round. Just aware of these sorts of problems. Sends Andu over to hold it. All the frags start falling. Just Adam B left 1v3. And s1mple hasn't even had to chime in. What a ridiculous way to end the game. And it looks like that's going to be all she wrote once Adam B goes down. He does get another one. There's the s1mple trade. Wow. Absolutely incredible performance. Really, just in all the ways we expect him to be good, he was. He hit AK taps, he hit AWP, multi-kills. He was everywhere and yet always in the right place. Fantastic play from s1mple, and that's the sort of thing that makes us believe that he's going to be back, truly back. It's not just raw numbers, it's when you watch him play, the intuition is there. The feel is there. I watched a game of Dust 2 where he gets 2 kills from the bomb site, jumps off the site, getting the info as he jumped across and also avoiding a bunch of bullets, landing, peeked out from the ramp, and just took a shot and hit it. That confidence, the courage of his convictions in terms of if he feels it in his mind, he's going to try it. He's not going to second guess himself. He's going to go for it. That is the GOAT s1mple. That is the s1mple who won a major. That's the s1mple who made himself #1 player of the year so many times. Absolutely fantastic stuff. I truly think, watching games like this, he's close enough to back to his true prime self that if we put him in a tier 1 team, he'd be contending for #1 player of the year. Probably would be difficult to make a case, you know, as good as Donk's, just with the statistical output Donk has been having, but he'd certainly be back in the conversation. Alright, if you enjoyed, leave a like, leave a comment to me your thoughts on s1mple's return. Yeah, sub for more content. Remember that members get access to more content and the right to vote, which is nice. All that for $2. But yeah, we'll see you next time.